They say that gratitude heals, but sometimes it's hard to feel grateful when your world is crashing down around you. Today, I'll share some personal stories about how I held on to gratitude, even amid tragedy. I have 3 kids. The first has autism and the second was born with a rare genetic syndrome and a brain malformation. It was scary when she was little because she had seizures, couldn't eat, and I didn't know her life expectancy. Years later, Arya is still on a feeding tube, but her seizures are controlled, though I still don't know her prognosis. She's about the sweetest girl you could ever hope to meet. When Arya was little, I remember being buried under an avalanche of medical paperwork as I tried to get her into specialist and disability programs. Arya's medical costs far exceeded our income, and I was putting in 30 to 40 hours a week on appointments. It was like a full-time job where you pay instead of getting paid. I was midway through one aid application when little Arya wanted to play peekaboo. Now this was a beefy application that would take many hours to complete. I was stressed and sleep deprived and didn't have time for peekaboo. I told Arya I couldn't play right now. Then it hit me. I was doing all this for her. How would I feel if she passed away and I'd spent our precious time together on Arya's paperwork instead of on Arya? I stopped what I was doing and we played peekaboo. And you know what? The paperwork was right there waiting for me when we were done playing. I'm not perfect, but since then I've tried not to take for granted the time that I have with my loved ones. Thankfully, after years of hard work, Arya's medical situation eventually stabilized. She still has a lot going on, but she's safe and it isn't scary anymore. I guess life figured things were getting boring, so another curveball was thrown my way. After nearly 8 years of wanting more children but not being able to get pregnant, I finally conceived. At first I was overjoyed. Then things got scary again. Midway through the pregnancy, the placenta partially detached, so the baby's life and mine were in danger. After longing for more children, I'd finally gotten pregnant, only to be faced with the very real possibility that my baby would die. Thankfully, he didn't. After a tense emergency delivery, little Marco made his debut. He's brought so much joy into our family. It's hard to imagine what life would have been like if he hadn't made it. After so much drama, I assumed life would settle down. I should have known better. It was a mundane decision that set me on the path to amputation. Since my baby had kindly met my deductible, I figured I might as well get arch supports since I'm a little flat-footed, and I wanted to do it before my insurance reset. In recent years, I'd come nowhere close to meeting my out-of-pocket maximum, so this felt like a golden opportunity. Apologies to international viewers, American insurance is complicated. The point is that there was a window of time where it wouldn't have cost me anything to go to the doctor. When I asked the podiatrist for arch supports, he suggested surgery instead. It didn't go too well. When my foot never fully recovered, I ended up needing another surgery, then another, and many more. Amid all this, I was caring for a newborn, an autistic son, and a special needs daughter, while unable to walk. I found better surgeons, but long story short, sometimes things get broken beyond our ability to fix. After 2.5 years of fighting to save my leg, it needed to be amputated. Amputation was hard, and I won't pretend that I never experienced grief or depression, but it's also true that I experienced deep gratitude and peace. Consider the context. I'd just had multiple experiences that had taught me that life can go wrong, but I'd also seen miracles take place. Both my daughter and my baby were alive and well. Since there's no guarantee of happily ever after, I had learned not to waste what I had or to sit around waiting for life to be perfect before I enjoyed it. Rephrased, I had gained perspective. As amputation drew near, I reflected that Marco's birth had indirectly set things in motion. The only reason why I decided to get arch supports was because having a baby had temporarily changed the insurance equation. Otherwise, I don't think I ever would have gone to a podiatrist because I wasn't in pain. In a roundabout way, Marco's birth was linked with the loss of my foot, and I was so grateful that I'd lost my leg instead of him. Now, I know that rationally it wasn't an either-or situation, but emotionally, I felt that I could have just as easily have lost my little boy or my daughter years earlier. Compared to their lives, the loss of my foot didn't feel quite so significant. I had something that mattered more. That's where gratitude enters in. Wherever you are, I want you to take a quick look around. What do you see? A single room can contain hundreds of different objects. But if you get fixated on the trash can, then you're not going to notice any of those things, let alone the light filtering in from the window. Getting too close to a trash can will block your view of the rest of the world and warp your perspective. Things start to get dark. The deeper you delve into that pit, the more trash you'll find until it becomes your entire existence. But if you choose to focus on the window, your view is expanded. You see beyond the confines of your own life and light streams in. The trash can still exists, and you probably should deal with it instead of letting it go rancid, but it isn't the focus of your existence. Gratitude isn't just a random emotion that some people feel and others don't. Gratitude is about what we choose to focus on. Amputation was devastating. I was disabled and in pain. I'd lost friends who struggled with what had happened to me, and I'd lost pieces of my life that had been precious to me. Medical bills had devastated us financially, and we would soon have to leave our home because it wasn't wheelchair accessible. That's a lot of trash. Alone in a hospital room with a freshly severed leg, I focused on the window. Instead of fixating on what I had lost, I spent a lot of time reflecting on what I still had. I had my family, but even if my children hadn't survived, there would still be light streaming in from the other side of the window. There's a whole world out there full of joys and sorrows, kindness and grief, people who spread sunshine, as well as many who are going through things even harder than what I'm experiencing. With so much waiting on the other side of the window, I don't have time to sit around staring at my trash can. A little perspective goes a long way. Once you care about something beyond yourself, you find purpose, and purpose is gratitude in action. It's so empowering that it can lift you even out of deep shadows. Maybe right now you're having a hard time. If so, I challenge you to identify something you deeply care about, something beyond yourself, and allow it to broaden your perspective and give you purpose. For me, it was my family, my religion, and my desire to help others. But it could be anything that you truly value. Maybe the change won't happen overnight, but like light filtering into a room, that purpose can illuminate your life. Once you've found that purpose, hold on to it, so that no matter how dark things get, you'll have a guiding star to see you through. I'm Stephanina, and thank you for listening to my story. Life can be hard, but I believe that as we look for light and joy, we'll find it, even in the darkest times. So whatever you're going through, hang in there and trust in better days to come.